Nowadays, having a secure encrypted way of communication is more important than ever. Everything you do on your phone, everywhere you go, it can all be tracked and sold to data brokers or worse. That's why today I'm going to be taking the deepest dive I've ever taken on this channel into LoRa. And for those who don't know, LoRa just means long range. It allows people to use devices just like this to communicate securely over long distances. And what's also cool is that the devices don't have to be big. They can be as small as this, or even this. So today I'm going to take you through every single level of LoRa, including things like DIY projects, products you can just go ahead and buy online, to the mobile command center version, some of my favorite LoRa devices of all time. And as an added bonus, I'll even show you how to use LoRa using the glitch mod on your Wi-Fi Pineapple pager. Alright, that's enough intro for me. Let's go on a long-range secure communications deep dive.
This video is for educational purposes only. Only test your own hardware. Doing otherwise is illegal. Don't be a skid.
So first of all, getting into LoRa doesn't have to be expensive. I've actually got the Heltec V3 in here, and that's about $21, and it even comes with a case just like this one. It's not great, but hey, it works. So let's hop on down to the top-down view and get a better look at these devices. Alright, so first things first, this is the actual LoRa device that I took with me to Defcon. It's actually running a custom version of Meshtastic cooked up by the one and only Rocket God for the entire Pirates Plunder crew. Now the one issue you may have with these is that there's no keyboard, so you'll actually have to pair your phone with it. That is the one downside. So that's why I like devices like this guy right here, which is the LilyGo T-Deck Pro, but we'll get back to that later. So I, of course, printed the case for this myself and built it all up. There's a 2000 milliamp hour battery in there, and it's got this cool little kind of like almost pager style case made by Alleycat. Very, very cool. I'll leave a link to the case file down in the description, and if I haven't by the time you're watching this video, please yell at me. So before we get into more complicated things, I wanted to show more of the DIY builds that I've done in the past because they're very cool, and it just shows what you can build for next to nothing, honestly. And yeah, this is just a Meshtastic client node right here. It's got, I think, a 2000 milliamp hour battery in there and a really big antenna. This thing will work forever. Very cool. And along the same lines, we also have this Giga Chad Nokia device. This was something that ZR Crack and my buddy made, and he actually made the full model for this thing. It's very cool. It'll actually fit two 18650 batteries if you wire them in. Honestly, it carries a huge battery, so aside from it looking kind of fun, it is very, very useful. So those are a couple of the fun DIY projects that I had. Alright, so one really cool device that actually works super, super good is the CardPuter Advanced. It has this LoRa and GPS antenna, so it's a very, very capable LoRa device. The CardPuter itself is about 30 bucks. I want to say the hat's about another $30, $60 and you've got a full keyboard and LoRa and GPS. This is actually a really, really freaking good deal. I love this product. Also from M5, they just sent me this. This is freaking awesome. This is the Unit C6L. This is LoRa and Wi-Fi, and it's got a Grove connector down here. So I can actually connect this to the Grove connector on this device, or even the Grove connector on an M5 stick. So you could actually have this physically attached to each other because there's little screws. Basically, then you'd have an M5 stick with LoRa attached on this cute little device just like this. That's so freaking cool. I absolutely love these guys. M5 Stack makes great products. If you ever want to mess around with IoT stuff, anything, go to M5 Stack. I'm not sponsored, but I've been following those guys forever, and they make really, really cool stuff. Okay, so my next two devices are actually probably my favorite devices of all time for LoRa. These are the LilyGo T-Decks. They work super, super well. Let's start off with this guy right here. Fire that up. This is actually running Meshcore. So Meshcore is a competitor to Meshtastic. They don't have as many people running it as Meshtastic, so the mesh is smaller, but I really like what they're doing. Now, it is freemium, so all of those little locks on there, those cost money to delete. However, there's not anything I can't live without in there, so I could actually deal with that. So we can go and do our chats over here. Right now, I haven't really gotten much into the public one because honestly, I just reflashed this for this demo. Contacts, do I have any contacts on there? No, I reflashed this for the demos to make sure there was no identifiable information. But whether you're making a Meshcore or a Meshtastic device, the LilyGo T-Deck Plus is probably the best single device you can get for LoRa. It does have a touchscreen, and it's got a cool little trackball. This one, I want to say I got it with the external antenna. This ran about $75, which is a really good deal. And again, it's got its own keyboard, and it's not running anything that's trackable. Nothing about this device is trackable in itself, other than whatever it's sending out of the antenna. So you don't need to use a cell phone or anything like that with it. It's very freaking cool. And again, I love the light up keyboard. So let's fire this down. Now we have this device. Honestly, I've been trying to find a reason to get back into this device because when I first looked at it, Meshtastic was brand new. So again, this is running Meshcore, and if we click into here, yeah, this runs super well. Really good touchscreen. Everything works super, super good. I'm very impressed with the implementation on this. I love how good the screen is on here and the refresh rates. It's a really, really cool little device. Super easy to use. It's got about 12 hours of battery on it, which I think is pretty cool. It vibrates, it makes noise, it does all the things you could want. So yeah, if I was going to pick a single device, it would probably be the LilyGo T-Deck Plus, this guy, and this guy's really close behind being the T-Deck Pro. So let's move on to another really cool device. Now, this is for all of you that don't have a 3D printer or things like that. This is the Meshnology M39 LoRa device. It's very, very cool. They have a case for you already printed up and ready to go. It gives you a battery, and it gives you the LoRa board with GPS. Very, very cool. It runs about 60 bucks, which really isn't bad, seeing as this with the GPS is about 40 bucks. And these batteries have to be like 5 or 10 bucks, so not a bad setup. Let's go ahead and do a quick little montage of me putting this thing together, and I'll show you how to flash it, because what's cool is this device is going to flash just like every other Heltec device, or pretty much every other LoRa device. It's really quite simple. But not before this super quick segue to today's sponsor, TryHackMe. Look, we've all seen it. You study for weeks, you take a multiple choice exam, but in the end, you still don't have the tools to really do the job. It's the whole paper certified trap, and that may be why breaking into cyber feels almost impossible right now. You need proof of hands-on capability, not just memorized glossary. That's exactly why TryHackMe just launched Cybersecurity 101. This is a 100% hands-on certification, not just a bunch of multiple choice questions. You're acting as a contractor for 7 real-world scenarios entirely in your browser. No setup required. You'll be hitting the essentials, Windows and Linux fundamentals like file system analysis and permissions, network traffic analysis and web app security, plus SOC analyst tasks and malware analysis. It covers both red and blue team fundamentals, so you can find out if you actually enjoy the offensive or defensive side before you specialize. You get up to 24 hours to finish at your own pace, and you get instant results the second you're done. It's designed for beginners, career changers, or interns looking to validate their skills. Standard entry certs can run you from $300 to $500. Sec 1 is normally $149, which even includes 3 months premium access to the whole platform. But if you use my link down below or use the code SAS40, you could save 40% off as a launch discount. Stop guessing if you have the skills and start proving it. Use my link down below to get started. Thank you so much, TryHackMe, for the continued support. You guys are absolutely awesome. All right, let's get back at it. This is my least favorite part of anything that has these connectors. I don't know why, but I'm so bad at connecting these things. Yes, there we go. One thing to note is that they definitely do have a V3 and a V4 version. Just make sure you're using the correct one for whatever ESP you're using. This in case it is the V4. We'll toss the other one. Just like that, we have ourselves a unit. It's not actually working right now because it's using Heltec's just default firmware, so we have to go ahead and flash Meshtastic on it. No problem. What we're going to do is we'll actually go ahead and plug this sucker in to the USB-C port right there, making sure you have a cable that you know carries data. Make sure it carries data. All right, let's hop on over to the desktop. All right, so here we are down at flasher.meshtastic.org. So if we go to select target device, I know there's an auto detect button right there, but it's not really the most reliable thing. I'm just going to click select target device. We're going to select Heltec because we know it's a Heltec. And if we scroll down, this hard to tell what that is image, that's our V4. Perfect. So might as well flash the alpha firmware. I like to live dangerously. If you're not quite so adventurous, you can flash stable or beta, but let's go alpha, more fun. We're gonna click flash and scroll down to the bottom here, hit continue, and we're gonna run a full erase and install, and then click flash and install. So here's a little trick. If you don't know what COM port you're plugged into, all you gotta do is unplug it, and you'll see one of the devices drop off, plug it back in, and then it'll show up again, and that is your device. So now we know we're on COM 23. And let's see if this goes easily. It says erasing flash, which this may take a while, and it will, but that means we've got the right device and it's actively flashing. Perfect, this is exactly what we want. So just be patient, and in a few minutes, it'll be done.
Subscribe before it's too late. He's everywhere.
And just like that, we've flashed our device. Very, very cool. Now that it's running on the device, you can see right there, it says click to navigate and long press to open the menu. So you can do just that. So go to OK, long press. It's going to ask what region we're in. We are in the United States. So remember, short press to go down, long press to select, and that's going to reboot the device. So now this should be using the correct frequencies for the United States. And just like that, now we have a US Meshtastic node. Fantastic. Couldn't be easier. Now this is the Wi-Fi Pineapple pager running the glitch mesh mod. Now this is a pretty cool setup. However, as with all of the glitch mods, it does block the charging port, which is a bit of a problem. So one of the things I've been doing to, solve that, especially for the GPS, is I picked up one of these 90-degree angle adapters, and this is in no way a good fix, but it is a fix. So there we go. Kind of silly, kind of crazy, but now I have access to that. I can mount it on things. It's doable. All right, so let's go ahead and do a really quick once over on how to actually get this thing working. We're gonna go ahead, and now that we have access to the USB, we're gonna go ahead and plug this in, and then we're gonna hop on down to the desktop. All right, so here we are down at the GitHub for Glitch Tech. This is actually the repository for the maker of the glitch mods. So we're going to go to the payload.sh. Now this is less of a payload, more of just an installation script. We're going to go to raw, which will allow us to download this. We're going to right click, go to save as, and we're going to drop it into our desktop. So right now I am on Windows, so I can actually load WinSCP, and that's going to allow me to actually upload files directly to my pager. These are the settings for it right here. The username is root. Your password is whatever you set your password to when you set up your pager initially. Feel free to pause and write all this stuff down. You're going to go into payloads and go to user. I dropped mine into the general tab. I just made a new mesh installer folder. All you got to do is just drag and drop the folder over here, and you're good to go. So then what we're going to do is we're going to load up our virtual pager, and we're just going to go into the payloads, right into general, and then we're just going to scroll down to mesh installer. All you need to do to install it is click the launch button. It does take about 5 minutes, which isn't too bad. I don't need to do it again because, again, it's just going to overwrite everything. So once that's done, we can actually go down here to make sure it's running. And it's just start typing mesh, and Meshtastic D is the service it needs to be running. It opens up a couple errors. I still need to kind of iron some stuff out here. I don't think it's working exactly perfectly, but that's basically how it works. So now that we can confirm that that's running, what we're going to want to do is go into our settings down here, and then we're going to change the network, and we want to make sure we have the management access point enabled. Effectively, what you're doing is you're making an access point with the pager that you can connect to with your phone, and then through the Meshtastic app, you can enter the IP address of the pager to access the Meshtastic node. It's a bit clunky. Now, if you're looking for the end-all, be-all mobile command center, the uConsole by Clockwork featuring the AIO board from Hacker Gadgets is an absolutely amazing option. It's got GPS, it's got LoRa, Wi-Fi, it's got an SDR, it's so cool. So let's just hop into accessories. And now you can load Meshtastic's MUI. So this is Mesh UI. It's a little hard to see with the exposure, but we're connected. And this is running Meshtastic just like everything else. If you want to run Meshtastic in the most bougie possible way, this might be it. Because not only can this do LoRa, it can do all sorts of other stuff like SDR++. So we can actually use this as a full-on SDR. This is so cool. I'm right there, boom, and I'm on the 2mm ham band. Very, very cool. I love this device. It's such a freaking awesome thing. All right, so that's about as many LoRa devices as I can jam into one video. Did you have a favorite device? Let me know in the comments down below. Are there any other LoRa devices you want to see me go over? Please let me know down in the comments. I really want to start leaning into personal privacy as a content, so definitely let me know. All right, so thank you so much for watching. You guys are absolute legends. We'll catch you next time.